Senator Lee, one of the hard issues that you might have to tackle in fiscal responsibility are entitlements. You may be aware that a Pew poll dropped this morning saying 60% of respondents said we want to preserve Social Security and Medicare benefits, and it's more important to them than resolving the budget deficit. How do you respond to that sort of response from the American people in terms of that particular poll, and how is that going to factor into what you and your fellow senators are trying to do? And other senators are welcome to respond on the issue of entitlements as well.
Yeah. My first response to that one is that I should make clear that the balanced budget amendment, which is sometimes attacked on grounds that it might be deemed by some to be hostile to entitlements, is agnostic as to where the cuts come from. We're laying down the gauntlet here by saying we're going to balance our budget, and once the balanced budget amendment takes effect, and Congress will have to do that, and as it sees it about to take effect, it'll have to make the arrangements to do that. We're deciding now that the budget has to be balanced. Americans do overwhelmingly support that, and that's why it's not surprising that Americans overwhelmingly support the balanced budget amendment. They want it to be done, even though they recognize that cuts will have to come from many places. They want that to happen. But where exactly those cuts come from is not decided by the balanced budget amendment. It's not really decided by this legislation in any way. We're crossing the first threshold of saying we have to get to the point of balancing. My second response to that has to do with the fact that our current course is not sustainable. The Medicare trustees themselves have acknowledged that that program is going bankrupt fairly quickly. Some say it's by the mid-2020s. Others say that its insolvency could be as soon as 2017. And so the obligations that have been made today, if they remain unchanged, are not obligations that can be honored in perpetuity by the United States lest we bankrupt ourselves and the entire country along with it. So much as we might wish that the status quo were an option, it's not.
So what would you do about it? I mean, you're saying the status quo is not acceptable. What's the path forward? I mean, setting aside the balanced budget amendment for a moment,
yeah.
This is a major part of the fiscal discussion of the
right.
day.
Sure. And that's where the Toomey budget legislation comes in. That's where the Paul Ryan budget legislation comes in. There have been several Republican proposals put forward to start putting us on a course toward balancing our budget. And that's part of what this legislation takes into account. And there are a number of things that we could do to get us on that course. Some have suggested converting our current Medicare system into a premium support model instead of a defined benefit model, which we're on right now.
Senator,